Good afternoon, Ken at Tortoise Capital. We're going to do the quick run through of the 70 charts for swing trading. I want to try this with sorting by the daily four seasons first. We're going to take a look at the summer, then the spring, then the winter, and then only later get all the way down into the fall and see what we can see based on clusters of patterns. So Johnson & Johnson is weekly spring and daily summer. That actually feels pretty good. I like this. Testing the 200 and getting ready to take off. I would see Target. Looks pretty good. McCormick I just added. Kramer was talking big smack about it. It's had support at 158. Broke through the hump at 166. Is really free and clear till it gets to 171, then the test will be made. Nike is weekly summer and daily summer. That's actually really powerful looking. It's really cleared this triple hump right here and has found support in the dragon and taken off. If it gets above 94, free and clear. Treasuries, nice and orderly move on defense. Orderly pull back to the 270 and taken off. Good long PSAR support. Crossing the 90. The next target's 147, then 148, and then it's free and clear. For a defensive play, that's not bad. You can see that's spring just getting ready to be summer. Double inverse silver. Has some possibilities here on weakness in silver. Watch wheat and silver, or wheat and precious metals. If this breaks above about 28 and a half, I think you got to like that with a target of 31 and 36. If we see, it would take a big move in precious metals and a strong move in equities to really reverse that trend. Hershey, to me, is one of the most interesting ones here. Has had this enormous run from 114 to 160, orderly pullback to the 270, the PSAR flip here, and just voted on the first day out of that congestion zone and up. So I think 160 is certainly within reason, and then 161, and above that, I mean, what's not to love? McDonald's, so now we're in the spring. Yeah, I'd buy it at 212. Add at 214 and the PSAR flip, and I think it's got to get above this gap at about 215, but then it's 218 and 219 are certainly within range, and then that's the real test. So I think you could play this with a range risk. Buy the strength with the belly of the dragon as the stop. That looks very favorable to me. Altria, perfect. I mean, the vice play. It's a long stretch move to fair value, and then the 200, strong support down around here, and voted up. Man, I think that's got to be a top five right there. I will be buying that one. I think that's the trade frame right there. And then target fair value, the Bollinger Band mean, and then the breakout from Z1. So that's a real orderly price ladder, and it's stop and reverse if it violates through here. So I like Altria. Bob gave us an alert on this one when it made the RLXD. Now the owl is in full effect. It's at fair value. It's above the 200. It's early in the PSAR flip. And the next stop, really, it's got to get through this congestion around 393, and then it's the 90, and then Z1, and then all the way back up to 440. I mean, that's pretty nice. When Bob recommends them, I pay attention. 2 days of adverse move in SDOW, so we're going to skip through those. This is that artificial intelligence equity that looks like a machine. Just suffering. I'm still just studying that to see what the effect of large-scale tactical AI on equity curves is. Boy, that's a hard one to hold. I mean, I don't know that they've got it sorted out yet. We're deep into the winter now. I'm gonna rush down here and take a look at the fall first, because these are ones that still should have something like an orderly move to the upside. I think you got to be here, an additional failure there, and then a second position here, and then targeting the 200. That looks about right. Yeah, I like that one. Alcoa. Apple, just love it. Buy it and love it. Boeing got a test above the top of the dragon. So I think you could buy this here with a stop at the 200. I'd like to see ideally more gains to the upside, but it looks to me like they've recovered from that bad news. You know, that's 2 legs up. This could be the 3rd leg up. Cat. We gotta be here. Sure, why not? And you add the second position, I think above fair value or in the top of the dragon, and then you're looking for the hump of the dragon. The only concern I have is this higher high to lower high to lower high, and this downward pressure. That's why I think this is a stop and reverse, and then your target on the bottom is the belly of the dragon, where you got to add a second position down here. Yeah, I think if it breaks out as Z1, you got to get a second short on. So cat's going to be a high pry for me. Cisco, perfect, double bottom, cut in great shape. That's the trade frame I like right there. I might even get a little higher on this one. And then it's going to come to the 200, which is also the hump of the dragon. But you can also get short on that one. DIA. See, I don't see much difference between that and that artificial intelligence equity thing. Only this looks more orderly. So why bother? Why not just trade the Dow? Upside target, you know, trading from hump to hump on this thing. So you're stuck in the middle. I think you could be tactical in here, and then that's where your real upside looks like. But if this fails right here, I think you got to be like this. You know, perfectly postured in the middle of the noise, right at fair value. That thing can go either direction. Dow Chemical, nice. 3 days of failure to fail. I like that one. Can take a run at the dragon, then if it rejects, it's the downside trade. Emerging markets, perfect. EFA, same thing, perfect. EWW, yeah. Here we go. This was such a good trade Friday, too. It's already broken above the hump of that dragon. And above that PSAR and the RL10 flip. And you got to go all the way back to this other one for the next price target up. And then the downside is clear as well. Violation of this and fair value. And the 90 and Z1 coming all the way down to the belly of the dragon. Oh, this is a trader's delight right here. Still, it's had a strong move from spring to summer, carefully into the fall. But again, it's already finding support. Why not? Brazil's going to be in kind of the same posture, but not as decisive as Mexico. So I think I'd be looking at Mexico. But this, if it can clear here, then it'll be good to go. You can see I trade that one a lot. EXC, Excellent Corp. I like the higher low breakout above here, and then 270, and then it's all the way up to the 50, up to $50. That's nice. HB Fuller. Yeah, good position here. Fought it all the way down to the Bollinger Band mean, and now has had 2 good days in a row. If it breaks out above here, I think you like that. I think your stop would be below the belly of the 10. Look at adding a position above the hump of the dragon. Excuse me. GE just been miserable, but it had a nice rebound to the 200, which turned that around, and the 270 is now up, and now the pullback halfway down the stack. If it finds support here and that's a bottoming tail, I think you could buy this one. Boy, holds your nose, but man, you could buy that one. And then if it gets above that hump, that's where you're adding the second position. I think I might use this as a target, the top of the dragon, just for bracketing. And then the belly of the dragon for the base. And the downside target. And it's right here in the middle. So I think it's pretty interesting. I think I could play GE. Home Depot. A low, a higher low, holding support at this double base right here. Yeah, I like that. I think it'd go stop right about there. Enter on strength. Targets to the upside, and then it's free and clear above there. Hewlett Packard, trying to turn around their printing business. Boy, you're getting it on sale, and you had lots of targets to the upside. I'm intrigued by this one, and I think I'm ready to pull the trigger on it. That's kind of what I like. A nice orderly turn. A tech bellwether. And then the downside's easy to see as well. I think I would get this right about here even. Yeah, I like that one. That's a critical state. That's a top 5. IBM. Tech leader. Strong vote up in ILF. So I think that cluster of Latin America, Brazil, and Mexico are showing some real promise. Intel Tech leader holding support at the 200. It's got to get above 52. Real estate, just a tremendous defensive play. Anytime you've seen it breach the 270 RL, the response has been pretty good. So I think you can still buy this one. You will feel like you're late on it, but you're not. And it's once it gets above 94, then it'll be obvious it was good. Morgan. Looks a lot like the Dow here, that high, a lower low, higher high, with a big oscillation and a bottoming tail. I think you can buy this 115, but let's see what the financials are doing, and that could be a play. Microsoft just been solid, holding pretty strong support here at 135. How do you not buy Microsoft? You got to buy it before it gets above 140, when it'll be obvious. Procter, solid, great defensive play. Raytheon and the drums of war. Semis, tech leaders leading the way. That commercial real estate has tried 2 moves up. Harsh sell-off. But as long as it finds support above 147, why don't you buy that and then play tactically? And it gets above 157. You know, that's about a 5% move. I think I like this one. That's about the minimum that you have to pay, you know, to find out what it's going to do, and it's starting to oscillate pretty nicely. So I like that. Tesla, company's on fire. You down to the upside, triple leverage. United Tech, nice tech leader here. I think I would go with this. Has to get above the blue line to be decisive, but you get room to gain tactically. Verizon, Walmart. I like Walmart. Very orderly pullback and solid support. Does well in recessions. Yeah, why not? Right there. Yeah. And if it gets above 118, off you go. This is promising for all the, you know, the Alcoas, the Cliffs, the basic materials. That looks pretty good. Nice solid support. It held at the 200 the last time it ran up to 59. So you get $3 to the upside and you're paying 50 cents to the downside. Why not? I think that's your trade frame right there. And bracket that and go short if you have to. Take the first move. High priority. Financials. You're already halfway up the stack, but it can get up this high. I think maybe you'd have to go something like this. Play the belly of the 10 and do that. I think you could do that right there. With a target of the top of the dragon. Second position short at Z1. And a break of the 200. Second position long around 27.90. So I think that's playable. All right, so that's 20 ideas. All of the ones that are in the winter, these are pretty straightforward. That if it fails, it just you get short all of these. Yeah. Every one of these, if that doesn't have any follow through, you know, the energy sector, every one of these is ready to collapse if we have bad news. On the other hand, stocking in the winter, you know, let's take a look at this. So you got Devon Energy, which is a monthly in the spring, so it's tried to make a turnaround on the basis of this. Right, so let's look at it on the weekly, see what it's doing. So it's come back to a support level. It got as high as 29. And then if you look at it on a monthly, it just turned into the spring. So the last times it's been down here, it's had some nice rebounds. all the way up to 40. So don't sniff at that. That's a reasonable move back to 35 in a Bollinger Band mean. And so that just means that you're, if this is a swing low, first urge back to the 200, it came back, found support where it should, and then it moved from 22 to 28. So if you don't want, that's $6 on 22. That's, almost a 30% move. How much do you want? Asia less Japan, same posture. Facebook, the euro, Goldman. Yeah, so these are all things that are suffering. So for the tactical traders here, they're going to take heart from those 2 days of bottoming tails and resumption and back to the 200. So I think there's some tactical pressure in the middle of all the bad news. Like, all right, so all the bad news is baked into the cake, and it's found support where it has every other time. Why isn't that support now? If you just drew this, why isn't that support? I think it is. So now you can get up here into the congestion zone. That's your opportunity. Okay, so that's Ken at Tortoise Capital with a review of some swing opportunities in the week ahead. Keep your risk measured and your powder dry.